Alright guys, so I recently got back from a quick 3-day road trip from San Francisco down to Morro Bay and back, and I was exclusively shooting on my Nikon ZF with manual focus lenses, that being the Thypoch 28mm and the 50mm, both with a wide open aperture of f1.4. So today I had some spare time and I just wanted to make a quick unsponsored passion project style video to share my photography trip experience along with the photos and videos that I captured. I also want to share what I wouldn't call issues, more like complications when using the Nikon ZF with manual focus lenses, plus some quick tips that really help me out to get sharp in focus images and also stable footage. So I started my trip off in Santa Cruz as I made my way down the coast, and this is what I captured. So full transparency guys, this wasn't my first time using these Thypoch lenses. I've had both the 28 and the 50mm since December last year, and I did take them to Japan in February. But to be fair, I wasn't convinced on the practicality on using manual focus lenses, as I personally felt that it would just be too cumbersome, as autofocus is obviously more superior in terms of ease of use and accuracy. But for the last month or so, I've been exclusively shooting on these two lenses in Hawaii, Mexico, and now on this trip to California. And I've actually grown to prefer these Thypoch lenses over using autofocus on the Nikon ZF, and here is a few reasons why. The first reason is the rendering. These lenses are sharp, but not clinically sharp. They've got this unique micro contrast that really reminds me of Leica glass. The flare is also beautiful and controlled, so you can go without the hood, and in some shots you can actually see the aperture blade in the flare without any of those weird color shifts you get with other lenses. They both have a great starburst effect at f16, and the bokeh wide open at f1.4 is just absolutely gorgeous. There's no major distortion, but yes, there is a bit of vignette, but that's just easily cleaned up in Lightroom. Personally, I think leaving a touch of vignette adds to the vintage film look, especially with the way that these lenses render. Secondly is the design and just the overall look and appeal of these lenses. I love the size and the weight also, and they really do suit the Nikon ZF's film aesthetic. Now, I went for the silver version since I'm planning on actually repainting my ZF into a limited edition silver version. I do have a video on that coming out soon, so make sure you're subscribed, but my friend at Aussie Shots had the black Thypoch 35mm, and that just looked incredible on the black Nikon ZF. Now, this 50mm isn't officially available in the Z mount yet. This is a demo model, but Thypoch did tell me that it's coming within the next month or so. They are a small company, and I respect that they would rather protect build quality over just pumping out volume. And then finally, shooting manual focus lenses is just fun. It's not nearly as cumbersome as you might think, and and I'll be explaining some tips and tricks later in today's video. So after staying the night in Santa Cruz, I headed down to Morro Bay, which I've been really wanting to capture. But to my surprise, in summer, you actually get a lot of morning and afternoon fog, but I managed to arrive right as the fog was rolling in, and I got a few nice shots that evening and the following morning. By the way guys, if you do like the way that I edit my photos, I do sell Lightroom presets based off this nostalgic film look. If you want to emulate this look, check the link in the description down below, and if you sign up to my photography and Lightroom newsletter, you'll receive a discount off your first order. So the Nikon ZF actually has some solid manual focus confirmation features, but most of them only work with lenses that have electronic contacts, which these Thypoch lenses do not. Now, I've got a full video coming out next week that's a deep dive into using manual focus lenses on the Nikon ZF and how to get contacts on some manual focus lenses by the use of a cool adapter. As without electronic contacts, the big issue is the IBIS. The camera doesn't know what focal length you're using, so stabilization won't work properly. And the fix is to go into the non-CPU lens data and tell the camera what focal length you have got mounted. I've got mine set up for a 28, a 35 and a 50mm, and I have mapped this record button so I can swap between the focal lengths quickly. That way the IBIS works properly for both photo and video. The second thing is focus checking. By default, Nikon gives you zoom in, zoom out buttons all the way down here on the back of the camera, which is honestly the worst spot. It's just awkward, it shakes the camera, and it's just not practical. So I remapped this button to the front of the camera to zoom on/off. This allows me to line up my shot, and I'll hit this button to zoom in. I will nail my focus, and I'll press it again to zoom out to check composition. Then I just hit the shutter. This method is way easier and way faster. Again, I'll cover everything in detail next week, so make sure you subscribe. But in a nutshell, that's a quick setup that makes shooting manual focus on the Nikon ZF way easier. Now, after Morro Bay, I wrapped up my trip in San Francisco. It was super foggy most of the time, but I did get a break in the weather and I managed to grab a few really nice shots before flying back here to Australia. guys, thank you for watching today's video. And California, you guys have some amazing potential for photography. If you're close to the area, I definitely highly recommend going out there, and I just can't wait to come back. But next time I'm definitely going to come back in fall, as it's meant to have less fog and better weather. Okay, next week's video will be a deep dive on the technicalities on manual focus lenses on the Nikon ZF. Why I think investing in M-mount lenses is a much smarter option, because they hold their value and they give you long-term flexibility if, say, one day you did what I did and pick up one of these bad boys. So definitely subscribe if you want to see that video and also some more future photography content. Again, if you did like the way that I edit my photos, I do sell Lightroom presets off this nostalgic film look. Sign up for my newsletter for a cheeky discount code as well. And you can watch my full review on the Nikon ZF right here, or maybe it's here. Anyway, if you don't have the Nikon ZF, just go out and grab your camera, go take some photos, and we will see you next week. Bye for now, guys.